Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Last time around we had Get to the Colosseum in Rome. That's also, I don't think that's how you spell Colosseum, for the Colosseum, you know? Collessium. I don't think that's how they actually spell it. I think the way they spell it is Colosseum. But whatever. Stands are viruses, and there's a guy with a fungus stand that's really deadly. Like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. And with that, let's just go ahead and jump right into this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Here we go. Oh, by the way, next week we won't have a new episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure because I'm taking Thanksgiving off. We'll be back in 2 weeks on December 1st. Well, we'll be back in 2 weeks from today, basically, with the next episode. So yeah. Alrighty, that's episode 30. Jeez, man. Oh boy, man, this is now like one of the most epic fights. Just on the fact that friggin', I mean, I don't know. I think it's because of the location, you know, because it's Rome. And because of how devastating, like, it reminds me a bit of the fight with Dio when they were going around Cairo, you know? Except now, we're going around Rome. And we have split up, where Bucciarati will take on Secco, and Giorno and Mista are going to take on Cioccolata. So, oh boy. Okay, interesting stuff. First off, I do like... There's something so ridiculous about Cioccolata, like, you know, treating Secco like a dog, basically. But it's kind of funny, I admit. It's kind of funny. Man, these guys, though, like, it is crazy that... It's crazy that they would be allowed into the Passione, you know? But maybe it's better, you know, it's like, well, it's something that the boss can control, you know? And presumably, you know, Cioccolata and green tea would be no match for King Crimson. Maybe that's what he was thinking. But we do also have the fact, you know, from last episode that Doppio is on his way because he has to make sure that there isn't carnage across Rome, you know? So... it would be interesting if Doppio joined the fight, sort of enemy of my enemy, but I don't see that happening, really. And especially because, honestly, I don't see that happening because then that would also reveal who Doppio is, you know? Just because if he starts using King Crimson's arms, you know? So yeah, that probably won't happen, but it would have been cool. So, but yeah, so... Sanctuary, which I'm sure these names are changed from the original, but I can't really place what they would be. But Sanctuary, it's Mudman from MHA. I like, though, it's fun kind of seeing some of these, you know, powers that I originally see in MHA as quirks and see how devastating they can be in JoJo, you know? Because while, yes, there can be some devastation in MHA, I mean, for God's sake, I just watched episode 5 of season 6 of MHA, and, you know, there was some devastation. There was definitely some devastation, but, you know, a lot of times, especially with the quirks of the kids, the you know, the students, like, they don't really get too devastating unless it's, you know, a big thing in the movie or something. But here, seeing Mudman, you know, the sort of Mudman power with Secco, that's really interesting. So I like that. I like how he does that. I do call a little bit of shenanigans on, like, okay, I get the whole, they establish, with how he eats the sugar cubes and stuff, that he is able to, that's how he's able to catch the bullets. Kind of stupid though, but whatever. I mean, unless maybe that's part of his stand, I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. But yeah, so that was kind of weird. But I like how he talks about that he brings up Notorious Chase and questions like, well, because it's a stand that's dead, would it be affected by green tea? And at first it's like, okay, why are you bringing this up? And then you start to realize, oh, wait, because this stand can't affect Bucciarati, Specifically can't affect him, Which honestly, you would think that would make... You would think that because of that, you would send Bucciarati after Cioccolata. But it's an interesting thing, which, I mean, I guess maybe it works out better here because they have to basically go up in order to get to Cioccolata, whereas, Bucciarati is constantly being dragged down by Seiko. So I guess it does make sense that Bucciarati stay there and deal with Seiko instead. But just the whole thing, we basically confirmed Bucciarati is dead, His body is dead, but it's still moving, His spirit is still here. His stand obviously is still here, and his body is moving. It's just that, it's only a matter of time basically before that body gives out. It's starting to rot away basically. Now, not to a terrible extent because, I guess it's only a couple days later. I guess it's only been 1 or 2 days, but, at a point, the body's going to start to smell, That body's going to start to smell as it decays, but yeah. But he most certainly died fighting the boss, but it's because of Golden Wind that he is able to hold on to his body for longer, Which is interesting. So it's not really it's not a counter to death. Like, he is still dead, and eventually that body is going to rot away and his spirit will leave it anyway. But for the moment, he can hold on to that body for a little while they work on defeating the boss, or Diavolo. So yeah, I'm so used to saying the boss now that it's actually going to be weird saying Diavolo, and also not accidentally saying Diavolo, which is what I want to say anyway. So yeah. So that's interesting. Yeah, that he is unaffected by green tea because he's already dead, But yeah, so that was interesting. And it is interesting too that they just double down on nothing can bring back the dead. Well, except for Bites the Dust, I guess. Because Bites the Dust can go back in time, and if he deactivates Bites the Dust, then those people still live. But whatever. That's different. That's an entirely different thing. But it's the same thing, basically, that happened with Josuke and his grandfather, that while he was able to heal his grandfather's body, it was too late and he was already dead. That said, Joseph Joestar was drained of all of his blood for like 10, 20 minutes, and then they did a blood transfusion of Dio's blood back into Joseph, and then Star Platinum pumped his heart, and it worked. His spirit came back. He wasn't a dead man walking. He was fully revitalized and everything. So, I mean, I guess what that would be is that it wasn't a stand that did that. Most likely it was Dio's vampiric blood, and could even partly be Joseph's hormone, I would say that was probably more of a mix of the Hamon that was already a part of Joseph's body, and the Hamon that I would assume is also a part of Jonathan's body. So it's a mix of, you know, Dio's vampiric essence and Jonathan's, you know, life force basically within his blood, along with Joseph's, back into Joseph's body that revived him, and not, yeah, obviously not just Star Platinum helped, but it was more that. But no stand can give life to the dead, you know? No stand can revive a dead body, you know? Because even Bites the Dust, it just goes back in time to before they died, you know? So that's also completely different, you know? But yeah. So I guess on that principle, yeah, you can't bring back the dead. But it is hilarious having both of those knowing what happened to Joseph, you know? Anyway, but yeah, Carnage in Rome. That is really interesting. Just seeing just how, you know, big and crazy it is. Which, I mean, yeah. So we're in we're in the final 10 episodes of part 5. So yeah, around this time we were getting to, like, you know, Darby the Player and Vanilla Ice and stuff like that, or Cool Ice, I should say, because this is a dub reaction. But yeah. So yeah, it's like we're starting to up the stakes, definitely. But yeah, just carnage across Rome is interesting. Because yeah, this guy, he's crazy. But Mista and Giorno are going to deal with that, and Bucciarati's going to deal with Secco. There was also the whole thing of Trish being mad at Bucciarati, and I get it, but I will also say heat of the moment, you know? Heat of the moment, and you have this mission, you have to do this mission. So which I think that's what Narancia was thinking, you know, where it's like, yeah, Trish doesn't fully understand it, but Narancia does because he's been here a while, you know. So that was interesting. So yeah, really, really interesting stuff. Very good setup for this fight. I'm very curious to see where we are going next time. But that is basically it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist for all of my JoJo's Bizarre Adventure reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.